Stop laughing. Stop.
Okay.
Don't laugh.
Okay, stop it. Okay,
I'm
okay,
sorry.
try again.
All right.
And
okay.
cut. And go ahead.
Oh, you're the director now. Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Reality Transurfing podcast, brought to you by TransurfingTV. I'm your host, Bootsy Greenwood, and today I am joined with Olivia
Okay, it's Olivia Anuhea.
Anuhea. Okay.
Yes.
I'm the worst at pronouncing stuff. People know this about me, and it's kind of my reputation.
Well, I forgive you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll get it. It just takes me a couple of times, you know. Like I've recorded the entire book and mispronounced a goddess's name. So.
Oh, Tufty.
It's Tafty, actually.
I know what you're talking about.
It really is. It's called Tafty. That's what.
I wonder why though, because it looks like it would be Tufty.
Well, the new one is It Fat. It's like Tufty backwards or Tafty backwards. So it's actually translated properly. So I guess not.
Are you sure it's that?
Yeah, because Vadim said so.
I don't trust you.
But yeah, welcome to the show, Olivia.
Thanks for having me.
Olivia.
Just call me Olivia.
Okay. Stop butchering my name. It's rude.
Well, Anuhea is actually a Hawaiian word. It's my Hawaiian name.
Okay.
And it means cool, gentle, sweet mountain breeze. But my mom told me that it also can translate it to gentle and kind.
Well,
so
really
people
nice.
are probably like, people are like, what is that? What is that name? Well, it's my Hawaiian name.
It means a lot of things. Breeze.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Those are good.
Yeah.
All good things, you know. It's like
yeah.
So cool. Well, welcome to the show. Happy to have you. Thank you for doing video. People have been getting a lot of requests for my beard on video, so
nice.
Accommodating this.
No probs.
And yeah, so we're gonna talk about reality transfer. We'll talk about Tufty or Tafty or Tufty. And some other stuff. I made some notes from our conversation earlier, and
perfect. I see sex in there.
That's pretty much
stuff.
That's I went to a sex shop today, actually.
And what did you get? I
didn't get anything. I went with my friend Ashley, and she got something. It was like. And it was like,
whoa.
Oh, wait.
Does Ashley have children? I want to know.
She was like, it's just for my butt. Don't.
Interesting times we live in.
I know. She's just really funny. She took me to Waffle House, and she's an awesome friend of mine. I've known her for like 15 years, and she's like, you go to the sex shop with me? And I was like, sure. So
how interesting.
I got a Kim Kardashian is what I got. That's what I went and got a Kim Kardashian doll, right?
No, you didn't. Oh my God.
I know you're a big Kanye fan.
I love Kanye. Yes. I don't really necessarily love Kim. I think she's beautiful, but I love the artistic spirit in Kanye and the fact that he doesn't give a fuck. Can I swear in here?
Yeah, you're allowed to swear.
Oh,
absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's transurfing. We're not, like
church.
Yeah, it's not new agey. We're not new agey.
Okay, cool. What do you think about Kanye? And I saw that transurfing that comment. People are like, oh yeah, Kanye's a transurfer.
Well, maybe he is. I don't know. Like, yeah, some of his lyrics look like he may be. I've seen him twice. One time was awful. He wore a mask the whole time. He was just like, where the press at? Where the press at? And I was really disappointed. That was at Bonnaroo. And then I saw him at Coachella this past April, and it was really, really good. He did this like Sermon on the Mount for Easter. It was I enjoyed it. They had like all this choir around. It was an awesome show. I really enjoyed it. And
oh, that's awesome.
I don't really like Kim either. I feel like she looks like an action figure. Like like
a hero.
I have insecurity. Yeah, I think you could just twist her around. You know what I mean? I have butt issues, but like I'm not trying to. You know.
You have butt insecurities.
Yeah, it's
okay.
It's
It's okay, Owen.
I'm supposed to have. I'm from the ATL, man. You know, I'm supposed to represent.
Oh my gosh, you're doing it.
I'm doing it a different way, right? I can still dance pretty well. You guys will find out.
We've got to see that.
That you will.
But not now.
That's right.
Maybe later.
For sure.
Fans only page.
That's on Patreon. You got to go to Patreon.
Yes.
to get that stuff. Well, cool. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about, let's talk about Tufty. I feel like, or
Mhm.
Tafty. Let's talk about the.
Let's call her Tufty
Okay.
for the sake of me understanding, because I listened to you call her Tufty for the whole book, so I called her Tufty. So let's call
Okay.
her Tufty.
All right. That's fine. We'll call her Tufty, and
Hmm.
we can start with that because, like,
Yeah.
you actually, let's start with talking about the plate. Like, this is a
Okay.
really big topic. A lot of people are talking about it, and
Hmm.
like, let's talk about that. Like,
Okay.
you learned it from Tufty. What sensations do you sort of associate with it?
Okay, so I've been trying to find the plate. I don't know if I actually have it. I've been doing meditations, and I've listened to a few people on YouTube who have done meditations for it. I can't remember the names, but good stuff. And I feel like I hone in on it a little bit, and then I can't actually quite get it yet. And it's probably been maybe about 3 weeks since I've been trying, and I haven't tried every day, which I probably should. How about you? What are the sensations that you feel?
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of people about it, and everybody kind of has their own different interpretation of it, which I think is it's good. And for me, it's kind of like this, like uh, kind of like Avatar, right? They have this like sort of thing that comes off the back of their head, right? And then it's like between
Hmm.
the shoulder blades. So like just kind of like back here, like a ponytail, and
Hmm.
but I feel like this fire around my head. Like I feel this
Ah,
sort of like hot um fire, like
tingling
tingling, yeah,
sensation.
tingling.
I do feel that. Okay, I know what you're talking
And I
about.
think that's sort of part of it. And then the appendage is
Um,
sort of off the back between the shoulder blades. And my friend Jessa says that like it raises up when she activates it. And like,
like an erection.
yeah, like like an
Cool.
erection. And like shooting right out of the top of her head. So like
Hmm.
I can think of like some different artists who have um drawn animations of just like things shooting out of the top of their head.
Yeah,
So kind of like
the
that.
crown chakra.
The crown chakra, exactly. So
Right.
so it's like that, and Castaneda talks about it in his work. He calls it the assemblage point. Carlos
Hmm.
Castaneda from the 60s and 70s, and in The Fire Within, he talks about it. So it's definitely, it's not brand new, but I don't think very many other authors had been talking about it. But as far as like activating it, it's visualization. It's kind of like, the way I like to think about it is kind of like a spiritual antenna, or like one of those bumper car sort of rides, when you have
Ah.
the thing that touches the top and it like hits the electrical stuff. And so
Hmm.
kind of like this electrical power behind you.
Like an electrical cord to the source.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Cool.
that's kind of what's going into the space variations, or infinity,
Mhm.
right? And so that's kind
Nice.
of like how we're communicating to um, it's like the the universal mind, or the alternative space, as Vadim calls it.
Hmm. I have a question for you. What about the plate? Can you activate it right away, or does it take you a while?
I just had to focus on it for a little while, and
Hmm.
then the more you notice, it's like anything else. The more you notice it, the more it's there. I also
Hmm.
find that it's like through the heart as well. So like it's on the back side, but it's in the same area as the heart. And so like
Hmm.
with my work and just the kind of way I am, like that's really where my focus is. That's the center for me for everything. Like I call the electrical chakra center. So,
Hmm.
so that's really kind of where I try to focus most of my energy, and like a Care Bear, like a Care Bear.
I love it. I'm gonna make you another meme. Now I have
Okay,
to make you another meme.
okay, great. Like it just,
Yeah,
just like,
I need a photo. So
okay, I'll work on that.
okay.
The thong is in the mail.
I can't wait.
Oh my god.
Oh,
But yeah, no, yeah. So I didn't even introduce you properly, so apologies.
that's
Um,
okay.
no, you're a model. You're a
Hmm.
coach. You've been
Hmm.
studying spirituality for quite some time. You have been uh, practicing for about 6 years. You had a
Yeah.
awakening when you were about 20. Can I say your age?
Yeah,
24.
sure. Yeah,
You,
24.
you look much younger than you are, by the way,
Thank you. I think happy people are youthful.
and you eat babies.
Yes, that's true. I eat men's souls.
Yeah, there you go. That'll keep you very healthy.
I'm just joking.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
No, you've been talking a lot about masculine and feminine, and we will come to that.
Mhm.
But let's talk a little
Mhm.
bit about your awakening first, because I think
Okay.
that's a really cool story.
Yeah, so I was 24 years old, and the way I came about it was through health. I was researching a lot about detoxing my body and holistically. And a lot of people know that when you research that sort of thing, spirituality gets in the mix. So I started learning about meditation as well. And then I took a transcendental meditation class, and I had the most profound experience I've ever had during one of my sessions where I went out of body and I experienced the law of oneness. And I realized that the only thing that separated us or human beings or anything really is our bodies, but we're all part of the same consciousness. And when I came back into my body, I was so um, overwhelmed by what I had experienced that I wanted to search for more. And so when I started to search for more, it goes down this really deep rabbit hole of conspiracy theories and negative energy, and you kind of get stuck there a little bit. And you wanting to tell your friends and your family, like, hey, there's something more to this life than the physical. And I went a little bit crazy for a while. And after that, I had to find balance and center. So I stumbled upon Reality Transurfing through Aaron Doughty. I don't know if you know who that is.
I know him, yeah.
Yeah, so I used to watch him every day, and I kind of actually started watching you guys every day instead, and listening to the books and stuff. So
Cool.
my attention kind of went elsewhere, but
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Aaron's work. I actually had a phone call with him once. We didn't wind
Really,
up.
how was that?
It was cool. We didn't wind up working together.
Mhm.
Another guy kind of set that up, and he had a different idea to sort of bring us together, and it didn't work out. And all for the best. We just keep going, and now I'm happy to be working with Renee directly, who, I mean, she's Vadim's prodigy. So
Yeah,
that's kind of cool, right? And she's also like
yeah,
hilarious, dude.
yeah.
I really think she missed her calling. She should have been a comic.
I think she's hilarious too. I love your guys' interaction on the show.
She's so funny. I think it's about to ramp up even more. We're gonna do like Transurfing After Dark. That's gonna be our new show.
Ooh, what's that about?
It's
Can
gonna
you tell us
be,
a little bit?
I'll give you a little preview. We're gonna
Okay.
talk about modern current events through the filter of transurfing. So anytime a big event will happen that it's we're going to be evaluating pendulums hopefully in a fun way, right? Like and hopefully demonstrating how to negotiate them while having a fun time and being a little bit provocative
Yeah.
and just being, we really want to kind of distinguish ourselves as who we are as individuals, because transurfing is about being your most authentic self and allowing everybody to be exactly as they are and the world to be as it is. So that's really what's important, not being fake, not being hiding behind light love and namaste or whatever, which there's nothing wrong with any of that, but it's just not for me. Like I just don't ring like that. Like I feel like there's a lot of, I don't want to be judgy, but like there's a lot of fake people in the new age movement.
I agree.
I feel, and
Mhm.
the conspiracy stuff too. That's something I really got into really deep. I got really depressed, and I was like the whole cliche, like living in my dad's basement, on the message boards and all of that. And but that was part of my process. That was something that I needed to understand because in the education system, I wasn't taught things that I really was curious about. I had to seek those things out on my own, and I had to learn about political philosophy and morals and different ideas that were never really presented to me
Mhm.
growing up. And when I got out of school, out of college, I was basically just, I would say, kind of programmed. I wasn't thinking my own thoughts. I didn't even know what I was a what Tufty calls a paper person at that point.
Mhm.
Somebody who's just not with it, not.
You're just caught up in pendulums.
Yeah, and like Napoleon Hill says in Outwitting the Devil, it's like the law of hypnotic rhythm. Most people are just drifting, just
Mhm.
they're completely swept up in all the pendulums. They're not thinking at all for themselves. they're not being their individual self.
Mhm.
So certainly they're never going to find their true goal, which is the whole point of transurfing. But it
Mhm.
took me some time too, so I can understand that. And in one of your videos, you said you would just like cry, you know,
Yeah.
controllably, which is,
Yeah.
I get that. Um, I get that too, you know, because
Yeah.
you feel that if you're empathetic at all, then you feel the pain of other people's, you know, position and where they are. and
Mhm.
and that's, I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that's it demonstrates a lot of compassion and connectedness, you know, because we are, to me, I've always been a little bit like wanting to uh inspire a better world, you know. And the way we
Mhm.
do that is in transurfing is to create the best layer and then add our layers together instead of
Mhm.
influencing people directly or starting a revolution or any of those things. We use our attention, which is all we
Mhm.
are anyway. That's all we are, is attention. And
Mhm.
we focus our attention on what where we want to go and light that path up. Um,
Um,
Tufty said,
Illuminate the frame.
exactly, and then
Right.
propel ourselves, right?
Mhm.
So
Nice.
yeah,
I was I I remember the time when I was completely not thinking for myself, and it was, I can't really recall when I started to think for myself, but now I know a complete difference. You know, now I see a pendulum, I can feel it, I know when people are talking about it, and I'm like, ooh, I say, wait, you know, how do you navigate in the world with other people's pendulums, other people's bullshit, basically invading in your space?
well, like Vadim says, like rent yourself out. You know, I just quickly agree. I'm like, yep, yep, you're right. You're exactly right, because they are. Everyone in their own
Mhm.
subjective reality is right. There's evidence to
Mhm.
support all theories, as Renee says. And, you know, whatever you project, the world reflects back to you. So there's no
Mhm.
point in arguing. And that's why I've never been, you know, like a evangelist for transurfing, because if you're not ready for it, you're not going to be able to hear it anyway. So there's really no point in pushing, but it's really neat that we're kind of coming together and collaborating together and really building, you know, a community where we can support each other.
Mhm.
And you know, I feel less and less delusional every day,
You're right.
and less
Yeah, I think,
isolated.
yeah, I think that the fact that it's not, you know, preachy and things like that, really keeps the community kind of clean, clean, I guess we would say. How would you say that?
Yes.
More, more intentional and stuff. Because people who want to be here are here. So we
Yes.
don't have to fight anybody. We don't have to, you know, prove points. It's just everybody gets each other. And that's what I love about the Facebook group.
Yeah, the Facebook group, God, dude,
It's so lit.
it's amazing. Yes, I've cried. I've lost 10 pounds in tears, just
Oh,
crying on.
that's awesome.
I can't help it, man. Like I've just completely abandoned my shell, and I'm just like flopping
Oh,
around on the
little cancer.
just goopy. I'm just a goop. Like you could just scoop me into a bucket, and take me wherever. You know, I'm just
That's
gonna be a
awesome.
puddle on the ground. But honestly, like
Mhm.
it is just an outpouring of love, and it's sincere. And people are, you know, coming with their ideas and their problems, and people are just commenting on it. I like the fact that there's no links. So, you know, if you're out there, please come into the Facebook group. But if you start posting links, then I'm coming after you. You know, I as
Yeah.
as blissed out as I can be, I can flip that switch too pretty fast.
Yeah. 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 I don't want to taint the space.
No, no, and
Yeah. We don't want multi-level marketing. We don't want
right.
people's pictures of families and kids and grandkids that we don't really care about. We're here to talk about reality transurfing. I'm joking.
Yeah, you know, but yeah, just no links, you know, because
Mm.
it's a discussion. It's a place to have a conversation and to, you know, bring your ideas and ask your questions. There's like several different transurfing instructors in there and we are, you know,
Who
admin.
are they, by the way?
So Dee Dee's one, Renee, Gigi, Damien's working on his certification right now. Tariq, and some are more active than others. There will be more and more. Actually, Vadim's even in the group. So
Really? Is
always
he?
watching. Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Somebody
interesting.
was talking shit about Vadim today, and I was like, hey,
Uh,
he's
uh,
like, he's a
oh.
member of this group. And then he was like, I'm pretty sure he can't speak English. And then somebody else commented that, yeah, but you can just click this button and it translates it.
You're canceled. Get the fuck out.
No, I mean,
Security.
yeah, exactly. We'll roll in, get some black shirts, just. But no, it's cool. Like it has been a really, really helpful group, and everybody in there has been a dream, really. There's only a couple of folks who have done something stupid, and there's several people who just didn't read the rules, and they're like, oh well, and it's like, it's fine. I send them a message. I'm like, hey, so no links, or if you're gonna have a debate, then just say what you think and state it that way, instead of calling the other person wrong or some name or something. That's not very helpful.
Yeah, it's very Facebooky, because then it starts to go on and on and on and on.
Yeah. It's like, dude, that's part of that negotiating the pendulum too. As soon as somebody starts that argument, what are they trying to do? They're trying to hook somebody into a reaction. And then you don't see a lot of it. It happens a little bit, and it's actually really neat to see how the group members react to it, because you can see that provocative lashing out, or and then nobody's getting defensive. They're just like, well, da 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 da, and those are the best comebacks. The one where you're right, but you're not tripping, and you're not like trying to be right. You're not like defensive
or
it.
putting someone else down.
Exactly. You're just like, well, there's evidence to support all theories. It's like, there you go.
And people are actually applying what they've learned, because that's one thing. It's one thing to take in content, and then it's another whole thing to actually apply it in real life and in situations like that. So yeah, you got to be proud of them. Wow.
Yeah. And because we all have, that's the thing about Transurfing too, is we each have our own credo. That's what we're allowed to have. Like, you have your own way of life that fits your frail or the shape of your soul. And so does everyone else. So everyone has their own way to approach life. And that's okay. It's accepted. And it's really neat to see. Like, it's a lot of different expressions.
A lot of different flavors, which makes the world interesting.
Yeah. There's individuality, and, not a lot of like, just, the same.
Yeah, and one-sidedness, and everyone has their own perspective, but all to do kind of on the same foundation.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah. So yeah, thanks to everybody in that Facebook group. And if you're not on there'll definitely be a link in the show notes for that. And we're working on some other stuff too. Really excited.
What are you guys working on?
We're working on some materials. There's some things underway, trying to get a better, more deep understanding of transurfing, and working on some techniques, some hypnosis type of stuff that should be really helpful. I love that stuff. Damien made a hypnosis that I've been doing every day, and he's done the binaural beats and everything. It's like,
ooh, put you in another level.
Yeah, it's got the like vibrations going from one ear to the other, and puts you kind of like tranced out. And like, I'll do some guided meditations, and and Renee will too. And the Transurfing After Dark thing, I'm really excited about. It's basically going to be like an encore of Transurf and Chill, and then we're going to just talk about modern things and have some fun, and laugh a lot. Like, that's what's cool. We've been laughing a lot in that group. It's laughing and and like joyful crying. That's basically
emotional roller coaster.
It's awesome. I couldn't ask for anything better. That's it.
Yeah.
What else is there?
Nice.
Well, let's talk about you a little bit, and what you've been doing on Instagram. Be sure to follow Olivia Anuhea. Shit, I'm so sorry. I'm the worst.
I'll say it. Olivia Anuhea. That's Olivia. Olivia _Anuhea. Anuhea.
Got it. Anuhea.
Yes. Like, okay, so it's kind of like this: a new hair, like what you should have, but a new hair. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I had to give it to you. A new hair.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I'm still getting a convertible because my plate can flap in the breeze. Okay.
Nice. Okay.
Just like take it around. And
Don't forget your hat though, because you
oh
don't
yeah.
want sunburn. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, that's the worst. If I get a sunburn on my head, I look like a leper. It's the worst. It's hugely embarrassing, humiliating.
Yeah, well, I don't have a big following on Instagram, and I don't really care about followers. I rather quality than quantity. There was a incident that happened when I was in Thailand. I was there for 3 months on a modeling trip, and somebody had sent me like a bunch of fake followers, and I knew it because like I had gone from, I think it was like 2,000 to 3,000 or something like that, or maybe it was 1,000 to 2,000, like 1,000 new followers in the matter of like 2 hours or something. And all of these accounts were bot accounts, so there was like nobody following them, no post and no picture. So I started blocking all of them, and yeah. Anyways, so yeah, I don't have a big account or anything, but I'm just trying to get the message out that there's a better way to live, because I know I was lost, and so it's not everyone's cup of tea, the things that I talk about on there, but the people who get it, they like really deeply get it, and they're really really thankful that I'm sharing this information and that they can share it too, because sometimes it's hard to articulate. So they'll share my stories or my posts and things, or they'll ask me to send them information, or so they can tell their families and friends and things like that.
That's awesome. Yeah, and there's beautiful photos of you too, like on horseback, copying me.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, well, I think I'm still winning, but
Yeah, you are.
it's not over yet. But no, beautiful photos, tasteful photos.
Thank you.
Just absolutely gorgeous in Hawaii, which God,
Hmm.
man, you live in paradise. You really do.
So I'm told. Yeah.
It's, yeah. Well, the grass is always greener in Hawaii. But
Mm.
but yeah, but you were talking a little bit today on Instagram about masculinity and femininity. I think we could talk about that since it's a hot topic and it's something that you seem passionate about.
Yeah. So when I was growing up, I didn't really have a male. Well, my male figure, my father, he was an alcoholic, and he was abusive to me, my sister, and my mom. And I saw a lot of turmoil going on there, and so I never had a male figure. And all of the families that I knew growing up were kind of like the same situation. Either the father was not there, or he was abusive, or drugs, or something like that. So I never had that guidance. And now that I'm opening up more to the spiritual aspect of things, I've met some really amazing men. And thank you, by the way, for sharing that book. I'm sorry, what was it called again?
The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida.
Yeah.
Deida. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That book is amazing. If anybody can read it, I highly recommend it, especially for people who never had father figures, because it teaches men how to be a man, and it teaches women how to look up to a man and how a man should be, I guess. And I really appreciated that. Yeah. Did you have any father figure when you
Yeah,
were
yeah.
growing up?
My dad, yeah, but he was at work a lot. And so, of
Mm-hmm.
course, I came up in school and most of my teachers were female. And, you know, I I grew up, I have a mom and a sister, so a lot of feminine energy. So it
Mm-hmm.
honestly, after I read that book, I was really able to heal some of my relationships with women because of it. Because I was like, oh, I get it. Like that's why she's acting like that. It's not it's not about like every girl I've ever dated. It's not all about you, Owen. It's not all, and I never really got the message until
Yeah.
I read that book, and I was like, oh, that's what
Mm-hmm.
I see. There's subtlety,
Mm-hmm.
there's nuance to our dynamic and the way that we operate in a masculine and feminine. I don't want to say male and female, but in a masculine and
Mm-hmm.
feminine way, because as he points out in the book, all these relationships follow these energies, but they're not necessarily gender specific.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like key takeaways for you, what's kind of popped out for you of the book?
Um, you know, I just realized the disharmony between masculine and feminine um, human beings, and just within the things that I see on TV, and like I can see it everywhere now. Now that I've been exposed to a little bit more, um, and I'm trying to digest it all, because I just finished the book today actually, and I'm trying to like look for it now. And I guess I would just say that I never really had a male figure, so I never understood.
Hmm.
And many people are in the same boat. You know what I mean? Like you didn't have your male figure was gone, so it's hard to relate to the opposite sex. It's hard to understand if nobody teaches you. But this book is it's a tool, I guess,
Hmm.
that helps. Yeah.
It definitely does. It blew my mind when I read the book. I was just like, oh my God, like I get it
Hmm.
now. Or not entirely, but at least it
I know
shows.
it's not hard to grasp. It's hard to actually get, I guess.
It is in a lot of ways. Like I
Yeah.
understand, like riding your edge. He talks about like your
Hmm.
masculine energy is always going toward your fear. You know, like going to that thing. And
Hmm.
masculine is always seeking freedom, and the feminine wants to
Hmm.
feel full. And so we both
Hmm.
have those, or we all have those elements within us. Some more than others.
Hmm.
You know, and
And it
that's
changes from time to time. So a woman can be more masculine in a certain situation, and a male can be more feminine in a certain situation.
exactly
And
actually
it's about polarity.
exactly. So the thing that's behind me is like hermetics, and you can't see it very well, but like it's
Yeah.
masculine and feminine, and like the masculine's chained to this post. You know,
Hmm.
masculine, generally speaking, is a little bit more logical and would represent the mind, right? In Vadim's work, the masculine is the mind, and the feminine
Hmm.
is the heart. So it's all
Hmm.
about uniting the two, and he talks about it in the book. But as a female too, you were talking today a little bit about how you can sniff it out. Like you have it, you have that more you're more feminine, I would assume, than
Hmm.
masculine. I could probably interpret that, but like, what is the sensation like if you saw a man who is weak or strong?
I can tell by the way he interacts with me. I can tell by the way he interacts with other males and people around him and his surroundings. I don't really want to give away my secrets. I'm just
I won't
joking.
put you on the
I'm just
spot.
joking. I'm just joking. No, I really should write a book because women should know about this. No, I'm joking.
No, you should.
How to smell a weak one. I'm just joking. I can sniff them out in the crowd now. I'm just like, and not to generalize, but like there are certain traits that you just notice about people. Like um, I think if a male is, I don't want to really say, I don't want to say yet because I
Okay.
haven't grasped it yet. But
That's fair. Well, I just feel like
yeah,
there's intuition. I feel like you would probably be
totally.
more intuitive than me. And I know that's really
Mhm.
hard to, and I might be more like in my mind than you, right? So we
Mhm.
have these different, but that's hard for me to understand. It's also hard to put into words.
It
So,
is. It
you
is.
know, I won't put you on the
Mhm.
spot. I'll just end the interview right now and, you know,
Mhm.
just have to wrap it up because,
Mhm.
no, I'm kidding. We're not wrapping.
I was like, okay, bye.
Yeah, that's it. See you later. Thanks. But yeah, so let's talk about where you're going, and because
Mhm.
we were talking last time about you know putting yourself out there as a coach, which I think you'd be great
Mhm.
at,
Thanks.
and yeah, just talk about that like
Okay.
a little bit.
I've been in the beauty industry. I've dealt with I don't want to say dealt with, but I've been around women for 10 years and helping them with their beauty needs, and also, and not to mention, okay, so anybody who's in the beauty industry knows that when you are a beauty therapist, whether it's hair, nails, eyelashes, eyebrows, you get unloaded on a lot by people's shits. Women's all their stories about negativity and their husbands cheating and their kids are naughty, and they all of these things. And I just always say that I'm an underpaid psychologist because I have to
Mm,
sit there and take it for an hour, even though I don't ask. And
right.
I got smart and I started putting on hypnosis so that they fall asleep. Because I'm
Really
just like,
smart.
I'm now that I'm more open to spirituality and stuff, things bother me a lot. I can't sit there and take somebody's bullshit unless I'm getting paid more. I'm joking.
That's fair.
but
Yeah.
but honestly, yeah,
Yeah.
I have to. I find that coming home, I have to really like somehow release that energy, let it go. Do meditation, do yoga, something, because it builds up other people's
Hmm.
stories and stuff like that. So I was in the beauty industry for 10 years and I was really successful at a really young age. But I realized that I no longer want to do it. It's no longer fulfilling me. And I really want to work with people one-on-one. And not just because when I'm with women, they have a lot of stories and things like that. But I find that I connect a lot with men because they want solutions. Women sometimes just want to talk. They just
Sure.
want to talk, and they don't want solutions. They
Mhm.
just want you to hear, and that's fine and well. I can deal with both, but I think that I'm more a solutions oriented person, and so I think I connect better with males on that level.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think you're,
Yeah.
I think you're a good role model too. You know, as
Thank
far
you.
as like what you're doing and what you're putting out there. You know, you could, I don't know, take the sort of lower path. I don't want to call it lower, but just a different path. You know, there's a lot of people on Instagram who are just taking pictures of their butt, you know, and
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
doing that, you know, like you're actually putting a message out there, and,
Mhm.
you know, and a lot of pictures of tigers and jaguars and stuff, which is cool.
They are my spirit animal.
Yeah.
It is everything that I wish I was when I was younger. Because to me, a lioness or like a cat, like a big wild cat, just symbolizes to me like strength and resilience and courage and smart and beauty. And yeah, I think it's amazing. It's everything that a woman should be, even a man as well.
Should be a cat. Should be more like cat-like or duck.
Yeah.
For my spirit animal is a duck. So,
Wait a minute, why?
well, I mean, ducks are great. You know, I feel like they get a bad rap. They can swim,
They can quack.
they can
That's
fly,
cool.
they can quack, they can, you know, do the flying V formation. Um,
Uh-huh.
they're inspiring, but
Mhm.
they can swim and fly. So they can be in the
Mm.
air, they can be in the water. They're covert,
Okay.
and when they're just like on the water, they look like they're just barely moving, but underneath the surface, they're just they're
And they're
crushing.
also very tasty.
Yeah, they are. I agree.
Yeah, I like that.
So you're so you're not a vegan anymore.
No, I'm not a vegan anymore. I probably like I can go months without eating meat. I can live off of rice and vegetables. I'm
Mhm.
Asian. I'm part Asian. I'm actually English, Irish, Hawaiian, Japanese, and Mexican.
Oh wow.
But my mother is half Japanese,
Okay,
so we grew up on rice and vegetables and fish all the time.
sure.
But yeah, I love rice and vegetables. I could live off of that if I wanted to. But yeah, I was vegan for a long time, and then I was pescatarian, and now I kind of have a balance of everything.
Yeah,
How about you?
I don't have a specific type of way of eating. Like I just
Hmm.
it depends. I'm really moody. Like I did veganism for a while. I did it for like
Hmm.
a few months, maybe like 3 months,
Hmm.
and I slept really well. But I think it's
Hmm.
just because I was malnourished. You know.
Yeah, we talked. I said maybe it's because you're just really lethargic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I have a question. Have you ever had anything like really how would I say scary happen to you, like spiritually, like you've seen ghosts or anything?
Well, sleep paralysis is probably the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. And that's for anybody who doesn't know, that's when you wake up and your body, like your brain secretes like a hormone or something to keep your body limp when you're asleep so that if, you know, you're playing basketball or something, you're not moving around in your sleep. So sometimes there's this phenomenon, and there's a lot of old like mystical traditions about it too. But basically what happens is your body is stiff and then you wake up and you can't scream or move, but you're awake. So it feels like somebody's on your chest. They call it in Ireland, I think, or somewhere in Great Britain, they call it the old hag, because it really feels like there's this weight on your chest, like there's this old woman who's like sitting on your chest, and it's really mortifying. I've thought it was different people at different times when it's happened to me. Like one time I thought it was my dad, and that was the worst. You know, it's like,
Traumatizing. You're like,
shit,
Dad,
Dad. Like
stop.
I mean, yeah, I know I've asked for a lot of money, and I know I've been kind of a dick sometimes, but you don't have to do this, Dad. You don't have to do it.
What did I do to deserve? That's
But yeah, that's probably the scariest thing that's happened to me. I've seen when I was a kid, I've seen some light switches turn off, and then
whoa.
it scared the shit out of me. Um,
Hmm.
and my grandparents used to always tell us ghost stories, and they were all true. Like I could tell them now, and people get chill bumps.
Wow.
So they would always tell us those. All
Did
the
they grow up in the States or?
Yeah, my grandfather's
Okay.
from Kentucky, and then my grandmother was from Florida.
Mhm.
But once they got together, they had some interesting things happen. They were like driving from a family reunion home from Kentucky, and they go and they stop at this gas station because they got lost. And I guess their Google Maps, went out. But they,
Mhm.
I'm kidding, right?
Grandma knows how to use Google Maps. I was like,
Yeah, she's not around anymore. But they didn't have that, so
oh,
they had to
that's
stop at a gas station. Yeah,
fine.
my joke missed. They don't all land, but she gets out, and there's a lady in a rocking chair, or like a dude in a rocking chair, like doing this out on the front. It's perfect.
Classic, right?
They walk in, and there's a woman dusting the shelves. Scary dude in a rocking chair out front. Creepy lady dusting the shelves at like 1 a.m. In 45 or 50. I don't even know. Something like
Holy
that. So they ask directions, and they're like, "Oh yeah, just go down this road." So they go down the road, and it's a dirt road, and the dirt road just starts getting more and more and more narrow as they're going down. And my grandmother's like, "Dude, this is fucked. Like, let's get out of here." So they do. They turn around. They go back the other way, and when they pass where the gas station is supposed to be, it's gone, completely gone.
Oh my God, a glitch in the Matrix? Maybe.
That's what I believe them. And my grandfather would tell me about this woman who would float into his bedroom as well. And as it turned out, he asked about it one morning at breakfast, and the previous woman who lived in the house was in a wheelchair. So that's
Whoa,
floating.
that's
Awesome.
crazy.
So they would tell us tons of ghost stories. And, I
Mhm.
grew up with a lot of that. I also grew up in the church, like the Pentecostal
Mhm.
church. So I saw like a lot of crazy things happen in the church that I couldn't explain. And really, until I read Transurfing, there wasn't really very much good evidence or theories about what I saw. It was like, I know what I experienced. I know what I saw in the church because I was there. I witnessed it, but I can't explain it, and I can't really talk about it without people thinking I'm crazy.
Crazy. Mhm.
So yeah. So
Was
I
it
don't
like
know.
demonic possessions and things?
I saw demonic
Whoa.
possessions and people healed of diseases and all kinds of
Wow.
interesting things.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Now, is it belief, you think? I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely. It's just like Vadim
yeah.
says. It's like if you do magic, ritual magic, then
Mhm.
you believe in this particular ritual, then it works for you. But with transurfing, you don't have to do that. You just align mind and
Mm.
heart, and then you just go in that direction without
Mhm.
having to do a bunch of voodoo.
Yeah.
It's effortless magic. What about you? You have any
Yeah.
interesting like weird spiritual stories
Um,
or run-ins with?
yeah. So I had that same experience. I had that. We call it in Hawaii. It's the sitting ghost. We say it's a sitting ghost,
Oh,
and
the sleep paralysis. Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
So it
wow.
happened. Yeah, it happened after I was retarded. I'm sorry, not retarded. I was dumb, and I played the Ouija board with a friend. And yeah, don't ever do that, people. Kids, don't ever play that. And the next day, it started the very next day, and there was this one time, and it happened for years and years. And one time, uh, I was sleeping. I was taking a nap in the daytime, and it was happening. And by this time, I already knew it was happening. I was like, oh, "Come on, hurry up already!" You know that feeling where it's just like, "Hurry the fuck up!" Like, what? Have you've
Yeah.
ever had that feeling,
Yeah,
right? You're like,
absolutely.
just do your thing and hurry up. Well, this time it was really scary because it wasn't letting me go. And it something in my ear, on this side of my ear, my right side, said my name 3 times in the most evil voice I've ever heard.
Shit.
It was like the most evil voice I've ever heard, and I freaked out, and I started panicking, and then I started praying to God because I didn't know what to do at that time, and then it let me go. That was really scary. And then ever since I started meditating, it went away. I've never
Huh.
experienced it since I started meditating.
That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Damn, that's scary. Yeah, it's weird. I just had a flashback of one other thing that happened to me in the church. Um, Maybe I'll share it with you another time because I don't want to like
Okay.
tell ghost stories on the Reality Transurfing podcast.
Ooh.
Yeah, like we want to try to end on a positive note, I
Okay.
guess.
Okay. I'm all entranced. I'm like, do tell. I want to eat my
Yeah.
popcorn.
Well, it's interesting, and all these phenomenon. Like, wow, I mean, they're crazy. There's a lady that I'm going to actually meet with soon. I was on her podcast. Her name's Karen Rontowski. her podcast is called Paranormal Karen, and she talks about all this stuff, like crazy stuff, like kind of what we're just talking about. And she's taking a class that's like paranormal science. It's like legit paranormal science. And so I'm supposed to talk with her. I was on her podcast and we spoke like a couple of months ago. And what we're going to talk about when she comes on is how, like, she's going to help us relate what she learned in the paranormal psychology class to transurfing. So that's going to be
that's neat.
really interesting. So you'll I think really like that. You like I see like the excitement up. That's cool.
Yeah, my mom is the same way. We love ghosts. Although, like, I would be scared shitless if I saw one, but I just like to like to hear people's stories.
Yeah, I just kind of like we have a deal, like I let them be, they let me be.
Yeah.
Just like trying to focus my attention on whatever, like the most positive pendulums and things that possibly can, just because
this is true.
That helps to bring more of that into the world.
Yeah, I like that. Good.
Try to anyway. Just Kanye stuff.
Kanye stuff.
Sex shop stuff.
Waffle House and sex shop.
Yeah.
That's a great combo.
Man, it was a wonderful day, and she's a good friend. She's an awesome person. She's hilarious too, and we've known each other for 15 years. Yeah, I was like, hey, I'm interviewing this girl today. I almost said chick. What an asshole.
It's okay.
And she was like, oh, she's so hot. So
thank you.
She was like, give her my number. So after the show.
Interesting.
No, it's like I was like, yeah, but she's awesome too, because like I've confided in her for many years, and she saw me at my weakest point, when I was really depressed and depraved, and I didn't know up from down, and was living in my dad's basement, the whole cliche thing. And now and now here we are where we are. And I went to lunch to sort of chat with her about some stuff that she's dealing with in her business, because she's just an awesome person. Like, she gave away a kidney to her friend's mom. She works with breast cancer survivors, and like does their prosthetic breasts, and just is an amazing.
What an angel!
Yeah, she's an absolute angel. I love her to death.
Does she practice reality transurfing?
She's a Christian, but I think I don't think it matters what religion you are. You can practice reality transurfing, but she's also a bit of a natural. I think there's a lot of natural reality transurfers out there. I have a lot that I've worked with in production, and comedians and different creative types that just naturally just get it. They light up a room, and they know who they are, and they're going toward their goal. And and so I think that's amazing. It's a lot of light being shined in the group as well, because I've seen some of my good friends come in and just be like, hey, this is what's going on. I have a good friend who's a fighter who I've talked with him a lot. He's just a pure master of intent. I mean, he's just such a badass dude, and he's like Batman on a budget. Like, that's his like, he is totally like a warrior, a justice warrior, not a social justice, but a justice warrior. Like when we were in Spain, he punked out a bunch of gypsies, like a whole band of gypsies. He outran the cops like twice, and then played it off like in a way where he was just like, he got on the phone and called me, and he was like, hey buddy, like real white, and like, so that it was very obvious that he was an American. And then the cops were like, oh, this guy's nuts, we're just going to leave him alone. So we had some amazing times in Spain, and I got to witness the power of his intention, because it's so automatic. You're a fighter, like you just go. It's you don't hesitate. So it was really neat to witness that and see it on display on a person. So I email with him once a week, and we talk about advantage a lot. Talk about just whatever. I'm there for him, and it was an amazing trip, because I got to really practice a lot of these principles. Over the past couple of months, I've been at home and teaching them, but getting out and getting into a completely new country, and really testing this stuff out, and it works. You know, like I have
Mm-hmm.
tons of stories from the cruise, and you know, being able to MC. Like I got to co-MC with a friend of mine, and for Peter Frampton, and I got to like host an event for Jesse Bon Jovi, who is John Bon Jovi's son.
Oh.
And you know, I was on the John Bon Jovi cruise, and then we did the Belle and Sebastian cruise, and like just all these things. And people are like, "How'd you get that job?" And I'm like, I couldn't tell you exactly how. Like I sent my friend a funny Marco Polo one day, and then he was like, "Yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
want to go on the Caribbean?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And then that became Spain, and you know, on and on. So you know, getting on that like wave of fortune is a
Oh, wow.
very possible thing, and it's just about appreciation and practicing that advantage
Mm-hmm.
principle. You know.
So when things don't go your way, it's always to your advantage. Is that what you mean?
Right, exactly. Because
Mm-hmm.
what our mind tries to do is it tries to figure out how things are going to go in like this linear sort of way. Like X is going to happen, it's going to lead to Y, then Z, and I'll be at my goal. But in reality, there are so many more variables and or causes and effect or different things that are at work that we can't understand it. And so a lot of times when we think we're going backwards, we're actually moving faster toward our goal because we can't fathom how the world is.
We can't see the whole picture.
Exactly. We're so limited in our minds. So that's like a really important thing. And that's, you know, I sent him like a synopsis of Tufty, and was like, "Hey, this is your spiritual BDSM guide. She is whipping you because she calls us snails, and because she's frustrated. She's like, dude, I've been here 1,000 times, and
Yeah.
you know, it's not that hard. What you're screwing it up, you're getting in your own way, and it's frustrating to her. You know, like she
Yeah.
has humor and she has compassion, but it's like, dude, if you taught the
Mhm.
same class 100 times, then you just become so bitter and dissociated.
Mhm.
Like I understand the tone of the book now. Like
Yeah.
before I read it, I was like, this is weird.
I freaking loved it the first time I read it. I was like, oh my gosh, I love this.
It was weird to me when I first started reading. I was like,
Mhm.
and I'm reading it too, like the voice of a goddess. That's my voice. I always knew, but you know, like reading this book, it's the voice of a goddess.
You're a
It's
goddess.
like, you know, like I'm like, yeah, like leather and
Yeah.
straps
Yeah.
and chains. You know, I don't have a whole lot of experience. I only dated one girl. But I mean, I'm open-minded. You know, I'm not against it. But
I wondered who's that lady on the cover? Who's that woman on the cover?
her name's Tatiana.
Of course.
Yeah, I know, right?
Tell us more about
I can't say
Tatiana.
it with a straight. I forgot her last. Her last name's like, I think it starts with an S. She's an actor.
Mhm.
She's an actor. She's a
Oh.
Russian actor, but she's not just an actor. She's also the head of Reality Transurfing over there, one of the academies over in Russia. So I don't, you know, Renee knows more about who she is, but
Mm.
that's the gist of it. But they have her painted up. It's like Tatiana Sumarina or something like that is her name. It's kind of cool. I like the way that flows.
Yeah.
Although I just made it up off the top of my head. But
Just stick with that.
yeah.
Just like you do Tufty and it's Tafty, and we'll just make up names.
It's confusing. As long as the principles come through, we're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
That's her all in red, but you
Mhm.
can follow her on Instagram. Maybe I'll send you a link to follow.
Oh, please.
And I'll put it in the show notes too. That'll be a good thing. I'll make a note
Cool.
so that people can do
Yeah.
that. Pay homage
Yeah.
to Tufty.
Yes. I have a question. What is the coolest thing that has ever happened to you during the reality transurfing journey?
I don't know. That's really hard to answer.
Mhm.
I feel like the best things that have happened to me are things that I couldn't have conceived of. So like we have a goal and we are like, oh, I'm going to do this, and that's what I want to do. And if you leave that a little bit open-ended, I feel like there's room for the universe to provide you with something that's even better than what you asked for. Like the
Yeah.
cruises that I just did were amazing, right?
Mhm.
I got to work on a major motion picture that comes out in October. It was a
Congrats.
yeah, so that's cool. It's like a stoner Eric Andre movie. And then I worked on Gaten Matarazzo's Netflix show, which also comes out in October. So, you know, I have some IMDb credits and stuff like that. But the coolest thing, honestly, is working with the Transurfing team. That's the coolest thing. The fact that I'm working right now with Gigi, who I she's so amazing. Renee, who, I mean, for God's sakes, we all know how badass she is, and who you guys are about to just be blown away by. I mean, the guy is awesome. That team is hands down. I didn't know you could work with people and it be the way that it is. It's touching. We laugh a lot, but we're getting everything done and just doing things big. It's gonna be really cool, and it already is. But it's it just keeps getting better. Honestly, you know.
Yeah, it's unfolding and cool.
Yeah, it's cool. And so you have a YouTube channel. You're on Instagram. What's your YouTube channel? Name Olivia Anuhea.
It's Olivia Anuhea. Yes, same as my Instagram.
Strike me down.
Yeah. It's Olivia Anuhea, and at the moment, you know, I didn't know what I was going to be going, what direction I was going to be going when I first started it. It was going to be about beauty because I was in the beauty industry, and then I started going into ASMR. Do you know what ASMR is?
Yeah, I sure do. Cardi B does it.
Yeah, I saw that on Instagram. Funny. Yeah, so I was doing that for a while, and then now I'm starting to go more into self-development and working with the subconscious mind, because that really fascinates me.
That's cool. Yeah, and the stories that you're posting on Instagram are, you know, reality transurfing and or related to that stuff. And definitely follow Olivia on Instagram. Check out her photos, all the kitty cats and tigresses and on her
and bikini pics, but with a message.
Bikini pics with a message, and of course, channel, which is awesome. I really liked your latest video about your spiritual awakening. So I'll put all that stuff in the show notes. Follow Olivia Anuhea. Anuhea. I'm so sorry.
There we go. That's okay.
Anuhea. I swear to God, I'm not fucking this up on purpose.
Okay, I know.
I'm going to get this right. Anuhea.
You will.
Anuhea.
Anuhea. Anuhea. There we go.
Anuhea.
Very good.
Okay. All right. Thank you for coaching. See, you're already coaching. You're doing a great job.
Yay.
Everybody check her out. All the links are going to be below and in the show notes. And
thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. So glad to talk to you, and thank you for doing what you're doing and spreading the message and being such a model, such a great example, you know, an exemplary human being. Thank you, Olivia.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Awesome. We'll talk to you soon.
Aloha.